They're loaded up in a tie game in the 6th as Vasquez takes strike one.
That's the side of the plate you got to stay on. Who has it been lenient on that side?
Vasquez fouls it off, and it's 0-2. Right off of the plate umpire, Jeff Nelson.
I don't know what else to say, but this is a weird night in baseball. So Nelson gets hit on that foul ball. They're going to go through a whole battery of tests saying, are you okay? I'm okay. You want to come out? I don't want to come out. Whatever it is, Nelson is going to stay in this game. We are bases loaded. We are a tie game. 6th inning, 2 outs, 0-2 count. All the drama, the high stakes, and the plate umpire just got knocked. At least if it was me, it would have been knocked. And stays in the game. This happens.
Fouls off 98 to stay alive. A slider gets him. And Cole's out of the jam, keeping the game tied.
The Red Sox bench is irate.
Remember the half swing's definition? Did he strike at the ball? Did the bat strike at the ball? Did it move toward the ball in an attempt to hit it? Your mileage may vary. Appeals board will look at it.
Situation with the bases loaded.
And that blow up in the Red Sox dugout did come with an ejection. The bench coach, Venable, was thrown out.
And Kevin Plawecki, who was on the bench. What was with all the wave-offs, like the brush-off, like the backhand wave-off from the umpire, and then the backhand wave-off from the bench? Why don't you just keep your wave-offs to yourself? Throw them out, do the normal ejection, but everyone keep your wave-offs to yourself. It looks like something's going on in the outfield now.
Between Alex Verdugo in left field and some of the fans, to the point where the game is being delayed.
Yeah, they threw a ball at him, I think.
Good catch. It is a ball on the field right there with the arrow thrown at the player. There's Mike Estabrook, the umpire, running out to try to get the player to calm down because it's, you get hit with the ball. It's not good. Alex Diaz comes over. Man, Laz was busy with the dugout, with the ejection, and now all the way in the outfield. Anyway, it looks like Estabrook, the umpire, goes with security to point out the fan while Laz takes the player and walks away with Verdugo, with the coach. And everyone's involved here. My goodness, it's raining like crazy. Everyone is losing their mind. I remember saying when we came back from COVID, the post-COVID honeymoon is going to be short-lived and people are going to go crazy. They're going to have very short fuses, everyone. And Verdugo was one of them, apparently, because he got hit by a ball that was thrown by a fan. You're not supposed to do that. And if you paid attention to what happened in Washington tonight, we'll get to that in a second, you'll see why that's such a big deal. Anyway, the Red Sox are actually going to leave the field, and we'll talk about more about that in a second as well.
And now everybody's leaving the field. Grounds crews hustling out, doing a little maintenance on the mound and at home plate.
So I remember when this happened at Dodger Stadium. Now, this is just so coincidentally timed because of the weather that it looks like, oh, the grounds crew's just going to work. No, they actually had an excuse. It's like, oh, there's a delay. We can take care of the field while everyone is having their little delay here. But I remember at Dodger Stadium with the baseball giveaway, we talked to Bob Davidson on the podcast. He was on that crew, and that was the famous forfeit because the fans started throwing balls on the field. And the umpire said, players, come off the field. We're pulling you off the field. We're calling the game because it just was not safe for the players anymore. And it really looks like that's what the Red Sox decided here on their own was a ball was thrown at our player, might have hit our player. This is not safe. We're going to the dugout. It might have nothing to do with the rain or anything like that, but it's the fact that a fan launched a projectile and hit a player on the field.
Entire team leave the field when
Meanwhile, the grounds crew does what the grounds crew needs to do.
Alex Cora's out there talking with the umpiring crew again.
Umpires are probably trying to say, y'all need to get back on the field. Cora's like, it's not safe. We can't do that right now. And Laz is listening, and at some point he's going to say, what do you want me to do? We got the fan. We can't do anything more than that. We got him. And Cora's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. They still threw it. The next person, what about that? At some point he's going to call in his crew chief, Jeff Nelson, and again, if I was umpiring, I'd still be a little woozy from that headshot a few outs earlier, or a few pitches earlier for that matter. But Nelson explains to Cora what's going on. And eventually, they're going to work their way to the dugout to talk to the player and try to get this game moving. Nelson says to Verdugo, you got to come out. Verdugo says, no. Nelson says, well, you have to or this will happen. So very reluctantly, Verdugo's like, okay, I'm coming out. They try to talk him. Nelson talks, says, look, we got you. We're going to take care of things like this. But you can't react that way. The coach is helping here. Alex Diaz is going to come, and we talked about bad touch, good touch. This is good touch. You're on the same side. Hey, you're one of us. We're all uniformed personnel on the team. We're all in the baseball family. Yankees coach, same thing. Reassure the player. You know, when I talk about mental health on this channel, sometimes I get blown up. Oh, what are you, a psychologist now? And if you're not talking about it, why aren't you? I'll talk about it again. Because when you get out there, he needs to know that people have his back. Because as soon as the director cuts to the next camera angle, you're going to see how alone he is in the outfield. So you need to feel like you are supported by people on the field in case something that crosses the line, like a ball being thrown at you from the stands when you're not looking, happens. You need to know that the people on the field, the umpires, the other team support you. Earlier I said, what's going on in sports? People are acting crazy. Well, timing is everything.
Situation at Nationals Park in D.C. tonight. You see fans fleeing, gunshots outside of Nationals Park. The police confirmed there were 2 shot outside of the third base gate here. You see all kinds of panic. Padres players grabbing their families, bringing them into the clubhouse. Initially, fans were told to stay in their seats, so they got the situation under control. D.C. police say there is no more ongoing threat. Fans were asked to leave calmly. Game postponed, finished tomorrow. Hope everyone is safe. Joe.
Meanwhile, we go back to the rain in the bottom of the 6th inning, and you're thinking, why are they playing? This is impossible. There's so many variables involved here, one of which we already had Thursday postponed, COVID. They finally call the game in the 7th as soon as the 6th inning ends, and I think John Smoltz hits on a very interesting point about the timing of when this game gets called.
And losing them in an inning or two. So when Cole had the bases loaded and they called the check swing in the rain, okay, the next inning was going to be played in the rain. And that next inning went longer than the Red Sox had hoped, and it got worse and worse as the inning was played out. And that's kind of the general rules. You know, it's not a hard-fed rule, but if the one team has the conditions like that, then the other team's going to have the conditions.
Smoltz is right. It's not a rule. It's not anywhere in the rule book that both teams have to have the same thing. You can't call a game in the middle of an inning. It has to be the end of an inning. It's not in the rule book. But at the same time, there's this notion of being fair to both teams, and they both get to have the same treatment. If you get half an inning in the rain on defense, that means you have to get half an inning in the rain on defense. So that's why, one of the many reasons why they said, we're going to play the bottom of the 6th inning to the best of our ability. As soon as the 3rd out happened, they said, okay, finally we're going to suspend this game. Now, actually, by rule, it's a called game. This was just a wacky night across baseball.
Current roster that they have.